Hello and welcome into our team predictions and preview series, and we're going to continue on with the 2022 Oakland A's. This is definitely a team in a rebuild stage, and they're just not going to have a bright year this year. In the leadoff spot, they're going to have second baseman Tony Kemp, a below-average second baseman in the league, and he's not going to provide much pop, and he'll provide a little bit of contact. In the two-hole shortstop, Elvis Andrus. Andrus used to be really solid, but has definitely fallen off. In the three-hole, kind of going to be the star of this team, Sean Murphy. Murphy is a really solid catcher, and I think he's going to be one of the top 5 to top 10 catchers in this league. In the four-hole, right fielder Seth Brown, a below-average player, but is going to be a good lefty bat for this team, as they are going to be certainly a weak team. And then in the five-hole, DH, old guy, 38 years old, Jed Lowry. Jed Lowry is going to be an okay player, but he'll be pretty solid for this team because they are definitely lacking with the bats. In the six-hole, first baseman should have been Matt Olson, but they traded him away to the Braves, so it's going to be Eric Thames. Eric Thames came back from Japan and absolutely popped off for a couple weeks with the Brewers, but that was because nobody could really figure him out. Now that people have figured him out, he's a below-average hitter. In the seven-hole, third baseman Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith came in the trade from the Blue Jays for Matt Chapman. That's definitely a downgrade to go from Matt Chapman to Kevin Smith, though. Kevin Smith's going to be a below-average bat with good potential in the future. In the eight-hole non-roster invite, Billy Mckinney playing left field. Billy Mckinney is actually going to be one of the more solid gloves and bats on this team. I do not know why he's as deep in the lineup as he is in the eight-hole. And in the nine-hole, one of the top prospects in baseball, or used to be, because now he is definitely outside of that top 100. Christian Pache has definitely fallen off with his prospect status, as when he came up to the majors, he struggled to hit, but he's got the defense to fall back on, as he's been regarded as a very good defensive prospect. On the bench for this team, they're going to have Chad Pinder, Sky Bolt, and Sheldon Noisy, who are all pretty solid players. And let's get to the rotation. In the one spot, they're going to have Sean Manaea, and in the two spot, Frankie Montas, both very, very solid pitchers who were expected to be traded, and I assume will be traded at some point soon. Montas and Manaea are really solid pitchers, and if they do hold them till the deadline, these will be two of the bright spots on this team. In the three spot, Cole Irving. Cole Irving is actually not a bad pitcher. Irving is a pretty solid arm from the left side. And in the four spot, Dalton Jeffries, who's going to be a pretty below-average arm for this league. But I think Dalton Jeffries will be okay for this team and isn't a bad four-starter. And in the five spot, young guy, Brent Honeywell Jr., who they got from the Rays. And Brent Honeywell Jr. definitely has potential, but he's struggled with injuries on his climb through the minors. Let's go to the bullpen for this team. This team's going to have closer Lou Trevino, who's not going to be super solid out of the closer role for this team, but I think he'll be able to add a little bit for them. And I think the real guy to watch for in this pen is going to be A.J. Puck, as he was a big-time prospect, but he's definitely slowed down after we've seen him up in the majors. My expectations for this A's team certainly aren't great, as I think they're going to end up being a 73-89 team.